A very good morning to everyone who have joined our session today. We are called Sakuraa Nihongo Resource Center, and we have organized this online industry talk called Michi today for all the engineering students. And we welcome you all. We thank you for taking time out to attend the session. And I would like to welcome our speakers also today, Dr. Iniyan and Dr. Kalai Salvan. We welcome you, sir. And there are a few points that I would like to tell you all about before we start off with the session. Firstly, we would like to request you to maintain the decorum of the session. Please do not write on the screen. The session is being recorded and it will be shared with your colleges. So refrain from writing on the screen. Kindly keep your audios on mute. If you have any questions or any doubts that you want to ask the speakers, you can note them down, and at the end of the session we will have a Q&A session, so you can ask them questions at that point. So there's a hand raise option in Zoom on the right side bottom corner, so you can click on that hand raise option. We will call out your name and then you can ask your question. So this will be at the end of the session. All right. So yes, please do maintain the decorum of the session and introduce yourself to the speakers when you are asking the question. Okay, so now I would like to take this opportunity to introduce our speakers. Firstly, Dr. Iniyan, he is currently the Dean of College of Engineering, Anna University, Chennai. He is also the Professor and Director of Center of University Industry Collaboration, Anna University. Previously, he was the Director, Institute for Energy Studies at Anna University. And during his tenure, he has started a new master's program exclusively on solar energy. He has completed international collaborative projects with Croatia, Italy, Australia, Israel, and UK. He has received 12 research projects from the government funding agencies. He has guided 20 PhD research scholars. He has published over 120 research papers in the reputed referred international journals. He has received the Active Researcher Award 2015 from Anna University. And he is also a member of various technical societies, Board of Studies, Academic Council, and many other groups. So we welcome you, Iniyan sir.
Thank
It's
you.
a pleasure to have you with us today.
Yeah.
Next, we have Dr. Kalai Salvan. He completed his PhD in management science and his PG in journalism and mass communication. He has around 3 decades of teaching, training, and research experience in the field of management science. In 2009, he joined Anna University as the placement coordinator, and currently he is associated with the university as the additional director in the Center of University Industry Collaborations. He is the member of Board of Studies for MBA program and also Anna University nominee for Result Processing Board. He is one of the panel of examiner for Madras University for PhD programs. He is a consultant trainer for many MNCs and public sector organizations. He is a motivational speaker, and his training program on industrial expectations is very popular among engineering students in Tamil Nadu. He's traveled widely across many European countries and has visited many universities
Yes.
for academic collaborative research related activities. He was invited as a government guest by the Republic of China during 2011 to attend the World CEO Conference. And currently, he is a panel member of Education and Training, uh, Confederation of Indian Industries, Tamil Nadu. And recently, he was elected as the Governing Council member for Quality Circle Forum of India, Chennai, Tamil Nadu. So thank you, Kalai Salvan sir, for also accepting our request and for joining us today. It's a pleasure to have you both of us to address our students. Today the topic for all of you students, I would like to reiterate on what basis the session will be on, the speakers will be speaking. So they will be talking about the current industry scenario, the job opportunities and the higher studies in Japan, and the opportunities that come with learning Japanese. Okay, so firstly, we would like to give you a small brief introduction about what we are. Post that, we'll have the speakers addressing you. So now I would request my colleague, Ms. Rama, to take over from here.
Yeah, so good morning to you all. A very hearty welcome to this Michi webinar of today. It's a great thing to see around 100 students participating in this webinar. So I'm sure today post the talk, at least few of you out of this 100 will think differently about how to move forward in your career or what path to choose. And we have our esteemed speakers here, as Ms. Mansa introduced. We have Dr. Iniyan and Dr. Kalai Salvan. Very warm welcome to you both, sir. And thank you very much for accepting our invite, our request to address these students. When such speakers come and address, I think the students are blessed to have people like you coming and addressing the students, showing them, a path, a way to move forward. So Michi, as we say, is also indication of the same. Okay. So first, let me introduce myself. My name is Rama. A very good morning to all of you. I handle the operations of this organization called Sakuraa Nihongo Resource Center, as you can see on the screen. So what is Sakuraa all about? So we are basically a Japanese language services company, and we were established in the year 2000. So last 21 years we have been continuously and specifically working in the field of Japanese language services. So what do we do when we say Japanese language services? Many things might be new to all of you. So our lines of business are two. So one, we cater to the corporates, that is we do a lot of services, anything and everything related to Japanese language, and these are the services which we cater to, like corporate trainings, both physical and internet based. Document translations, that is we have documents we receive from clients. They might be Japanese to English translation or English to Japanese translation, so document translations keep happening. And these two are the very important programs for corporates of different sizes. So basically, it is like business etiquette program. So this we conduct for Indians, any and every Indian who is working in a Japanese firm or is interacting with clients in Japan. So basically, bring in a lot of culture orientation, and Japan is known for their strong culture and their routing system. So we bring in a lot of culture orientation and business etiquettes which they need to know irrespective of the size of the firm. The other thing what we take care is the etiquette program for Japanese, I think the previous slide. So this basically the culture orientation, when we say not only to the Indians, we also sensitize the Japanese, the Japanese expats who are there here in India, about our work culture, the way we behave, the Indian ethics what we follow. So this is also being done for Japanese expats in India. The other key thing which all of you might be interested is bilingual placements. So when I say bilingual placements, it's not a regular placement agency or like your college placements, what happens, but we do placements for bilingual. When I say it is core Japanese skill sets and English. You you can have your technical background, but when you are called a bilingual engineer or a bilingual professional, you need to have your Japanese skills as well, and there is a minimum requirement of the language proficiency what you need to have. So these are the key things which we keep conducting to the corporates. So now I have indicated what all services we do, but whom are all we interacting with, or what is our client database? So a few companies we have just listed. So as you can see, core Japanese companies like Toshiba Software, Toyota Groups, Sony also we've been working, and MNCs like Wipro, TCS and all, manufacturing companies, pharmaceutical companies, so on and so forth. We have been working with a good number of companies exclusively for their Japanese language needs. Not only that, we have been working with quite a good number of colleges and esteemed colleges, as you can see here. So not only the engineering colleges, but we also work with the non-engineering, that's degree college, like a Sheshadripuram Degree College, where we teach their MIB students, the postgraduate students, the language. And we've worked with a couple of engineering colleges too, where the management felt they could make a difference with this language. Their students could make a difference. So we worked with ones like Vidyavardhaka College of Engineering, Mysore, BV Bhumareddy College of Engineering, Hubli, MITS, Andhra Pradesh, and Zyme, Mumbai. So these are the list of colleges whom we have worked with. So when we, I mean, I have been telling ki we have been working with so on and so forth, but why would you believe us, right? So this gives a clear indication of what our students think of us. Students, please understand that this session is being recorded. Kindly refrain from doing all this. I think one Mr. Rahul is doing this. Kindly refrain doing this. So, as I've been telling, this is what our students think about us, and these are the reviews given to us. I have two centers in Bangalore. So we are a core Bangalore-based company, but with online classes, we've been approached pan India and even from Japan. So apart from this, now till now I have spoken majorly about what we do and what sort of corporates we've been working, and the other line of business has been individual teaching. So students, I mean, when I say students, it can be of any age group. Our students are from different age groups. They come and learn Japanese with us. Okay, so now we, in the last 20 years, we have around thousands of students have learned from us. So we wanted to understand the pattern, or why these people are coming to learn from us. So when we took the background of the educational background of the students, we found that majority, around 60% of them, are from the science background. Okay, when I say science, it can be BSc, MSc, BE, anything. They might be engineering grads, or even from the BSc. So we found that 60% plus, which is a big chunk, are coming from the science background. And when we checked out why do they need to learn Japanese, or why do they prefer to pick up this language versus other languages, so majority of around 55% indicated that it is mainly because they wanted to improve their career prospects, which means that there is a marked difference when someone has a foreign language like Japanese on their sleeve. Of course, our speakers are going to give a lot of inputs about why there is a need for Indians to work in Japanese companies or in Japan by itself. And around 10% of them indicated that there is a job requirement, on the job demand is there. So that is what is the generic thing. And others, we have very few, I mean a very few less percentage of higher studies, or a passion for the language. So this is basically about why our students felt that they should learn. But there's a common I would say an thought that majorly Japanese is very difficult, of course, and also it has a lot of scripts and all such things. This is majorly thought by the European nations and the people there, because they are more English based. But the plus point for Indians, we are generally multilingual. I mean, each one of us can speak a good number of, at least couple of languages, be it one of the region, at least one or two of the regional languages, and of course English, where all of us speak. So that's the reason I mean, it is built in us to pick up multiple languages. And also there is a lot of similarity between Indian mother tongues and Japanese. So that's the reason we are able to easily pick this up. So with this, there are a lot of this is about the background of our students and why they felt they should learn this language. Now what is it, what do our students get out of the the learning, and what is it they get from SNRC other than the regular teaching? So there are a lot of other uh, add-ons which SNRC students get, which is like attending such a Michi program. Not only our students, now we've kept it open for pan India engineering students, because that is a trend we have seen. The people who want to pick up the language have been engineers. So pan India students come in and take part in the Michi program and hear to our esteemed speakers, and they get benefited. Other than that, we are a core, I would say, a sole representative of few institutes in Japan where people can go for higher education in Japanese. So we are their sole representatives in India, and our students, it becomes a pathway for them to easily reach out to Japan, do their education in Japanese, and then start working there. So it becomes an easy route for them to go through us. Apart from this, as I initially in my first slide indicated, for corporates, business etiquette and culture orientation has been a very key thing. In the same way, every class of ours are always oriented for towards the culture of Japan, and we give a lot of inputs about Japan and Japanese, and bilingual placements also, our students get benefited. So when we talk of our commitment towards our students, it's not only in teaching, but we also stand by them. And the last year, everyone knows, because of the pandemic, so many changes happened. So this international exam, which is called the JLPT exam for Japanese language proficiency test, got cancelled both the times, that is July and December. So we stood by our students and conducted it online, so that not only our students benefit from this, but we opened it up pan India for anyone who's learning Japanese, so that the effort what they have put in through the year, shouldn't go waste, and they should be able to assess themselves. So that indicates our commitment to students and also to the fraternity of Japanese language learners, so that they improvise on their learning and help them to go in this field for a longer way. So when I talked about the Michi programs, what we have done, this is a list of 11 Michi programs, what we have done in the last 1 year. So basically, you can see we have had the top people from the top companies coming in, MNCs like Wipro, we have TCS, and Japanese companies like Toshiba, Rakuten. Rakuten is a new age Japanese company. Mitsubishi Hitachi Power Systems, Tata Hitachi Construction. So you can imagine that you would not be able to speak to a MD or a VP of a company like this and can hear their valuable inputs. As today you can see Dr. Iniyan and Dr. Kalai Salvan being a part of this program. We have been having such esteemed speakers always, and from their experience we get a lot to learn. So this is about us. So again, thank you all for patiently listening to us. And from here, I hand it over to Dr. Iniyan sir to share his words with us and give us share a lot of wisdom about how to move further. Thanks a lot to all of you, and hope you will take a lot of inputs from Dr. Iniyan and Dr. Kalai Salvan today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ramasan. Also, I would like to again request all of you students to not write on the screen. In case you write on the screen, we will be forced to remove you from the session and you will not be able to join the session again. So please note this, and please also note that the session is being recorded. So it will be definitely shared with your college and they will take strict action against you. Now I would request Indian sir to take over from here.
Uh, so good morning to everyone. I really appreciate the Mishi for organizing this webinar, and good morning to all the students and participants for this webinar. And for the next 20 minutes, I'm going to talk about say the current industry scenario and about job opportunities for Indian engineers in Japan, Japanese companies. Maybe I request to make the presentation by the organizer. Yeah. So, and I mean, we must know what is the current trend about, say, industrial scenario in India as well as in Japan, and what are the job opportunities available for the Indian engineers in Japan or Japanese companies. So, it's really, when you know about the current scenario in both the countries and about the relationship and about the job opportunities, and it will be a great help to every one of us. Maybe next slide. And so in this presentation, I'm going to make all these contents and about the India-Japan relations and investment. So what kind of relationship we have with in Japan, that India and Japan, and what is the investment by Japanese companies and what is the investment from Indian companies in Japan. So that those data, it could be presented, and Japanese establishments in India, and so in almost in throughout the country they have established, and a lot of business companies and throughout the country, and so that we are going to see through this presentation, and triggers to learn Japanese. So why should we learn Japanese language, and what is the importance for that? So that would be covered here, and need for Indian bilingual engineers. So what is the need for the Indian, bilingual engineers, and why choose Japan? Why not other countries? So what is the specialty in Japan? So that could be covered here. And what are the opportunities, okay, and requirement areas, okay, for Indian engineers, and uh, maybe a core engineer or a software engineer, and for what are the opportunities available there, and that could be covered here, and prerequisites requests to work in Japan and Japanese companies. So what is the preliminary requirement? Okay, so that will be covered here in this content. The next slide. And India-Japan relations and investments. So the new era in Japan-India relations, and currently, and I think Prime Minister visited very frequently to various countries, including Japan, and so in the recent years, okay, and new era is developed, and the relations has become very strong, and for the investments and future relations, an unwavering commitment to work and grow together. So, and both the countries are having very good relations, and they want to work together and they want to grow together. And since we are in Asia, and really very strong commitment is there, and bilateral security and defense cooperation. So in all the areas we have bilateral cooperation. For example, even in the science and technology and the Department of Science and Technology, we have, say, bilateral cooperation with the Japanese, say, technological society. And so there was a call, Indo Japan bilateral projects. Even I have applied, I have submitted one project proposal, that is both the universities will come together and do some research work, and that a lot of bilateral activities are being promoted by both the countries. Even at the defense side also we have good cooperation, and so we have very friendly relations between India and Japan. And then economic relationship between Japan and India have steadily expanded and deepened. Japan was the fourth largest investor for India the year 2019. So, and so Japan is it's a very large investor, fourth largest investor in our country. So when you look at this table, okay, and that is trade from India to Japan, and from the year 2009 to 2019, you find, say, the steadily it is increasing, okay, and 2019, that is 586 billion yen. So 1 yen equal to, it's a zero point 0.7 rupees, and so it's a huge investment. Okay, so that is 586 billion yen. Okay, and same way the trade from Japan to India, it is much higher, and it's really astonishing. So it's close to 1,200 billion yen. So it's a huge investment. So it is doubled in the span of 1 decade. So, and it is really a very attractive figures, and a lot of huge investments okay, by Japan as well as by India, and it shows it creates a lot of say opportunities, okay, and for both the countries to exchange our knowledge and exchange our services. So really, it is so interesting. Next. Next slide, we are seeing about the Japanese private sector's interest in India is also rising. So, and not only the government side, even the private sector is also showing much interest in India. It is kept on rising, and currently about 1,454 Japanese companies have branches in India, almost throughout the country. So they have, say, started a lot of, say, branch Japanese companies, close to 1,500. It is really huge one. And apart from that, MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, is also signed in January 2021, recently during this pandemic period. But then, see here, the information and communications technology, that is ICT, including 5G standardization and the submarine optical fiber and disaster management and other projects. So really, it's a very good move by both the government and India and Japan. They have signed MOU very recently, particularly in the very advanced areas, particularly in ICT and the 5G and the optical fiber. It's underneath the sea. It is really so amazing. And disaster management, of course, Japanese always they are very popular in managing at the time of disaster, and even the other projects. So actually, I visited about a year before, I'm in Japan to attend an international conference, Yokohama, and I wanted to travel from Yokohama, that is from Tokyo to Hiroshima. Just I wanted to see the city how it is now, okay. And after bombing, and just I got the news from the TV channel that before one day, so there was some disaster. There is a huge earthquake, and and the railway tracks are covered with the building materials, and it's a huge disaster actually. So I thought, okay, so I have to cancel my train, and I have to cancel my trip because it's a huge disaster. It may take at least a minimum 1 week time, because it's a completely the long I mean, track was covered by, I mean, all the building materials collapsed, and I thought it is just impossible. But anyhow, I wanted to cancel the ticket for the next day. I went to the station, and then the station master said, "No, this is in 2 hours it will become all right. So no worry." He said, "Even after 2 years it will be resumed, and trains will flow." I was just shocked. So what a disaster took place, and I mean, when I look at the photographs and the TV channel and all, it's a very big one, because in our country we take minimum 1 week to clear everything. But they said in 2 hours it will be cleared. It happened same way, and next day without any problem, I just went to Hiroshima from Tokyo. So what I'm trying to say is, okay, so they are very strong in the disaster management, and whether it is tsunami, whether it is earthquake, and they are all well versed, because they are almost, I mean, very frequently they face all these problems. So I was there just for a week. And in a week itself, I found, say, the great earthquake took place, and so like that, very frequently they find disaster, but then easily they are managing without affecting anything. So it is so amazing. So and so rarely we get this kind of disaster in our country, but then we have signed a MOU at the time of crisis. No, we get help from Japan, and to manage at the time of disaster. Okay. Then introduction of Shinkansen, that is bullet train system in India. So in India, of course, recently though, so the metro has come, and the major metropolitan cities like Chennai, in Delhi, okay, it is in good operation. But then, so I mean, the bullet train is going to be introduced with I mean, Japanese collaboration. So I travel from Tokyo to Hiroshima. It's about more than 500 kilometers and close to 600 kilometers. It is covered just in 2 hours. It is so amazing. Okay, and so for us it takes overnight, but then in couple of hours it crossed. I mean, so nowadays I have seen recently one news from Japanese bulletin, and they developed another bullet train, and say in 1 hour time, and I think about 900 kilometers per hour is equivalent to the flight speed. Okay, like supersonic speed, like say they could cover 900 kilometers in 1 hour. It's so amazing. So the bullet train concept, it is very interesting, and so India is seriously thinking about it, and for many decades, and we take overnight or 2 nights and 1 day to travel from, say, from Bangalore to Delhi, or from Chennai to Delhi. Still, we used to have, say, I mean, 36 hours and all for many decades. But then, and by this collaboration, I think we can, when we implement this bullet train, a lot of time could be saved. And then the bilateral relationship upgraded to special strategic and global partnership, and particularly this the bilateral relationship on India-Japan digital partnership. So now everything is becoming digital manner, and at the time of pandemic, and so we have everything through online, and so digitalization is the talk of the day. And again, so we both the countries made a digital partnership and a direct investment from Japan. Okay, so I mean the year 2019 is 624 billion yen, almost it's doubled. Okay, from in 1 year. Okay, so from 2017 18, see, with 300 plus, and now we have 600 plus billion yen. Okay, so that is it is direct investment from Japan. It shows that, okay, the digitalization is very important nowadays, and it's a very good partnership we have with Japan. And of course they are say known for this. Okay, and definitely this will be helpful, okay, for India to have digitalization. Okay, next. And here you find some Japanese businesses in India. So throughout the country, in almost all the states, okay, you find Japanese businesses, and okay, and particularly, I mean, the Maharashtra, it's a leading state, and so they have a lot of Japanese companies, and about that's a number one, that is about say 815 Japanese businesses in Maharashtra state, and then followed by Haryana, it's about 624, and then Tamil Nadu, it's a 600. It's so interesting, and followed by Karnataka, it's about 534. That is, these are the business centers of Japan, and throughout the country, in more almost in all the states, even including Jammu and Kashmir, it is 22 business center. So I mean, so altogether it is about 6,500, close to 6,500. Okay, so that's kind of businesses in our country. Really, I mean, it is continuously, it is growing. Okay, and there are a lot of opportunities. So next, and here you find about the triggers to learn Japanese language, and India-Japan cooperation. It is becoming very stronger and stronger, and the bullet train, and so India is much interested to implement bullet train through Japanese cooperation. The nuclear energy, of course, Japanese, they are also pioneer in terms of nuclear energy, and so we want to have cooperation to implement some nuclear power plants in the country. The same with the science and technology, and they are very strong even academically in science and technology. The Department of Science and Technology is having very good cooperation with the Japanese science and technology, and so both the countries, so they signed to for the exchange of students and exchange of professors and exchange of research activities. And IT corridor, of course. So I mean, railways are awesome. Okay, and in Japan, it is well connected. Railway, I mean, route is well connected throughout the country, and they love to travel only in train. Okay, a lot of, say, I mean, chairman or labor level, everyone prefers by for I mean, in train journey, and a lot of bullet trains are being operated throughout the country, and so by which I think they cut down the pollution level, and they go fast from one point to another point. That is very interesting. And increased Japanese businesses in India, and it is kept on increasing, and so it's in the right time. Okay, it's a need for bilinguals, and access to advanced technology, learning innovators of technology. So Japan, of course, known for advanced technology in all the areas, particularly in engineering and even the IT, and say particularly the digitalization and all. So they are very advanced. So and through the India and Japan cooperation, and we can also grow together in technology aspects and improve career prospects and increase job opportunities in Japan. And because of the intense cooperation and so much opportunities, and it creates a lot of job opportunities in Japan. Okay, and very good career is available for engineers and MBA graduates and other say even the science and technologies. Okay, and a lot of opportunities are available in Japan and higher studies in Japan. So that higher studies, of course, even the students can do higher studies in Japan very well, and a lot of universities in Japanese universities are really they are giving very good fellowship for the students, and of course, Anna University is having a lot of MOU, and with the Japanese universities, particularly Osaka City universities, we have MOU and Shizuoka University and Yokohama National University, Hiroshima University and National Institute of Material Science. And we have very strong MOU with Japanese universities. And particularly, there is a call, that is National Institute of Material Science, that is NIMS, Japan. And so they have introduced one new program, that is International Cooperative Graduate Program exclusively for research scholars. And those who those who want to do PhD, and it's 12 months they can visit. That is for the collaborative research, and the Japanese government, they sponsor completely the accommodation and living expenses. Okay, and for the research scholars, really, and they have introduced, particularly in the material science area, very good opportunities are available. And recently there is called okay, that is Japanese style manufacturing course, and in Hiroshima University. So Japanese style manufacturing, the manufacturing, no, they maintain the accuracy and quality control. They are very popular in that area. And when the students can join in Hiroshima University, and they can take up some manufacturing course to understand the Japanese style, and they also offer some internship in leading companies. Okay, so after the master's program, they can work in the companies, and they can take up internship also at the time of studies. Okay, so that kind of opportunities are available. And there is another called Nagoya Institute of Technology, NI-Tech, that is International Graduate Program for Global Engineers 2021. It's a 2 years master program in manufacturing again. And so after the program, after doing a master's there, and so the Japanese industry, they are coming forward, and they take the students, those have finished the master's program. So that is this course is really assuring after the graduate program they can take up immediately job in the Japanese industry in manufacturing area. So like that, say there are a lot of opportunities available for the students to do higher studies. Of course, after the higher studies, they will be taken in the companies, and even while they do higher studies, they are given internship. And some of the universities, they are giving some living expenses and accommodation at the time of higher studies. So that is so interesting. So and okay, so that break communication barriers, there is bridge engineers between both nations. Okay, the communication barrier, it is really there. And in Japan, of course, and so we have English as a second language, but Japan, it's not so. And definitely the Japanese language, it has become mandatory. And so without that, it is very difficult to survive in Japan, even in the university, even when you want to work in the company. And definitely, so Japanese language, it's very important, because even in the public, even in the shopping, without Japanese language, it is very difficult to manage. And whether it is university or whether it is say a company, and the Japanese language, it is very important to survive there. But it is I mean, in couple of months it could be learned. Okay, then next. Okay, so need for Indian bilingual engineers, and surgical demand okay, and due to aging population in Japan. So in Japan, the average age is about more than 70 plus. Normally, no, when I see in the stations and in many places, you can see lots of say aged people, elderly people moving around, and so I mean young people are very very less in the country. I mean, so, and for our young people, okay, so there are a lot of opportunities waiting in Japan, and insufficient technocrats in the country, and leading edge in technology and processes. And really, they are very, very strong in all the processing in companies, and technological uh, growth and everything. They are having leading edge, and it is really very interesting when for the Indians to grow together, and opportunities opening up across domains and skills, and a lot of plenty of opportunities are there, and they want to create some skilled engineers. They want to train them, okay, when we do masters or when we go to the companies, and initially they want to give very very strong training. They want to use only the skilled people, whether they're engineers or managerial people. So they impart the skill, before they utilize us. And flexibility and adaptability nature of an Indian. Okay, normally, no, wherever we go, we have our own nature, and we adapt very easily, and it is flexible, and we are not very rigid. Even the food style, of course, in Japan is totally different, but then a lot of Indians are there, and they manage, okay, and they make own cooking, or they just adapt with their food style. And we are not very rigid, no, we are always flexible. And a strong political relations between India and Japan. And of course, politically, we are united very, very well. And each country they exchange. We have a lot of bilateral relations, and a lot of investments by Japanese and by Indians there in Japan. So, and not only that, the top Indian multinational companies have major investment in Japan, particularly the TCS and Wipro and Infosys. All these multinational software companies, they invested a lot in Japan. Okay, that is hence providing multiple job opportunities for Indian engineers. Okay, next. And why choose Japan? Okay, so that is very interesting. And for example, the H-1B visa was have forced Indians to look for alternative options in United States. Very difficult to get a H-1B visa, and very difficult to find a job nowadays in United States. Maybe after that, maybe the present government, we expect some relaxation, but then again, it takes time, okay, to get the waiver for all these things. And European countries, of course, are also very difficult. You can do higher studies, but then finding job in European countries, it's really huge task. But in Japan, it is really open for higher studies as well as to find some good jobs in good companies. And that's why we can choose Japan. And Japan has emerged as an attractive option for Indian technocrats seeking jobs in abroad. And because, see, the shortage of at least 600,000 positions in Japan, 6 lakh positions available in Japan. It's a huge, okay. So the opportunities are plenty in Japan. And Japan government is also relaxing work visa structure. But it is easy, the getting, even when I went for conference, just 2 working days I got visa. No, I visited over 20 countries plus, but then this is a very shortest time. In 2 working days I got the visa. Same way, and then it is not very complicated, the structure wise, and it is easy to process the visa. And memorandum of cooperation, new status of residents of a specified skilled worker by the government of Japan. And so they are always insist, the skilled labor, skilled worker, and skilled engineer, and skilled manager. So they want to impart the complete skill before what they want to utilize us. Okay, and pay package is really very very attractive, and salaries are really on par with other countries like United States or Canada, and definitely the pay packages are very very attractive. Next. Indian engineers requirement areas. Of course, these are all the areas. Okay, so And IT engineers, you have a lot of opportunities, and mechanical design engineer and mold design. Again, it is coming under manufacturing and control design, civil engineering design, and particularly know the building, say structure and all. It's very flexible at the time of earthquake and all. It will just know that it will shake and it will stand still. Okay, it will not fall in the minor earthquakes and all. So electric design, okay, particularly the underneath cabling and all, and quality control. It's very very interesting. Maybe Dr. Kalaiselvan can throw some light on that quality control, and he's the chairman for the quality circle of say Federation and Forum of India, so QCFI, and production management and metal processing. Again, these are all, say, it's a completely core engineering, particularly in the mechanical engineering. Same way, production technology and equipment maintenance and chemical processing industry, technical sales and overseas sales, and say bridging engineers, India and Japan. So in these areas, no, particularly the core engineering, and you have lots and lots of opportunities in Japan. Next. Maybe last slide. And the free requisites to work in Japan or Japanese studies engineer, and or you can be you may be having some management degree, and right. So and there are a lot. I mean, in the first slide, and the madam was presenting, and about 50%, okay, and for the core engineering, and around 10% for the management people. So so I mean, for all engineers, it may be core engineering or software engineering, or even including management. You have a lot of say opportunities. And JLPT appropriate level, that is Japanese language proficiency test, and you have to have at least N1, N2, N3, N4, N5. There are 4 levels. You should have at least the N3, and so that you can be work in the industry, or you can also do your higher studies. That is must. And a good conversational Japanese. So you have to be very very comfortable in talking Japanese language. It is easier, right? And so you have to cross the level at least 3. And most importantly, the understanding of Japanese culture. Okay, so you have to understand the Japanese. It's a very very traditional country like India, and and they will not compromise anything, and you can't find like Western culture. It is very very traditional culture they keep. So you should understand the Japanese culture, and understand the Japanese corporate business. So yeah, and say the corporate business culture, and it should have proper understanding. And before you go there, okay, the learning the Japanese language, and learning the Japanese culture, and learning Japanese corporate business style. And this is very very important before you go for higher studies, and before you take up job in the in Japan. Okay, I stop with this. Thank you for listening. I'm sorry I have taken a little more time. So thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate the Michi organization for arranging this webinar. And thank you.
Thank you, sir, for sharing all those words of wisdom with the students. I hope it benefits them and to make a good choice in their career. Now I request Kalai Salvan sir to share his words. So you can take up the next 20 minutes or so. You can complete your talk. It's okay if you can extend it.
Thank you, Manasa. Thank you, Professor Iniyan San and Ms. Rama San, for wonderful opportunity given to me to talk to 100 plus engineers who are joined today virtually through this Zoom call. Friends, all my student friends, you are all living in a fantastic time. When I say you are living in a fantastic time, really I mean it. The one single reason is, as a country, friends, I'm telling you, as of now, we are blessed with 68% of the population fall under the age category of 18 to 32. When I say the 18 to 32, this is what people call it a demographic advantage. So, or the age-related advantage. So that's the reason why I said, friends, you are all living in a fantastic time. It doesn't end with this year. When I say the 68% of this young age population doesn't end with this year. As we progress in the years to come, friends, I'm telling you, we have this advantage till the year 2042. So you're all going to have a fantastic time. You're all living in a right time where the country is witnessing the economic growth and the world is looking at India, considering India as a land of opportunity. The world, the other countries are not saying, the China is a land of opportunity, or to that matter, any other country, or US is a land of opportunity. The one single reason they say India is a land of opportunity, we are all blessed with the young age population. So that's the reason why all these big multinational companies are setting up their operations or planning to set up their operations in India. Whether companies from Japan or companies from US or companies from China or companies from German, if you see, they have large, huge presence across the country. So even Professor Iniyan has beautifully touched upon, there are about 6,500 plus engineering companies are having their operations in India. Japanese companies are having their operations in India. Friends, I'm telling you, the numbers are growing because we have been witnessing, and we have been the center in which I am coordinating. We have been working with 200 to 250 companies every year. There are predominantly major chunk of companies are from Japan. Whether it is Toyota, whether it is Mitsubishi, whether it is Nippon, NTT Data, or Honda Motors, or Suzuki, or Sony and Nissan, to that matter, or Hitachi, all these big companies, Japanese companies, they visit regularly and recruit a good number of talent in this campus. Friends, when I say this is a kind of a scenario, you're all living in a fantastic time. So as an organization, when they visit to the campus, there are the three different parameters in which they try to assess the people. One is the attitude, the second one is the skill, and the third one is the knowledge. This is what we call the ASK formula. When I say the ASK formula, A stands for attitude, S stands for skill, and K stands for the knowledge. So friends, I'm telling you, in the beginning of the session, I have been watching quietly and silently. Some of them are scribbling, right? So making all kinds of playful things on the scenario. Friends, we are all living in a technology era, right? We can easily make out who is doing it. We can easily find out in which IP address it is coming in. So friends, I'm telling you, we are all professional engineers. We should have a professionalism in mind. So friends, when I say the attitude, that's the reason why they place attitude at the first. So when I check with these HR managers, all these big leading companies, they used to say, sir, if the attitude is good, this imparting skills and imparting the knowledge is very easy. So we can do it at any time. So friends, keep that in mind. When I say the attitude play a vital role. It is predominantly very, very important for any individual to get a fantastic job opportunities in any companies, be it a Japanese company or any other companies across the world. So it is easy for them to find out. They are simple to identify the attitude. That's the reason why in every forum I used to say, friends, I'm telling you, the 4 years of your studies, the 4 years of studies, engineering studies, what you study, be it engineering, civil or electrical or computer science or an IT or mechanical or an automobile engineering, if you are in a position to comprehend and present within 40 minutes, friends, I'm telling you, 40 years of your professional life will be taken care of. This is what we call the 4-40-40 formula. So 4 years of your studies, if you can able to comprehend and present within these 40 minutes, and the rest of the 40 years of your professional life will be taken care of. So friends, this is all, this is how the interview process is going to happen today. We are all living in a new normal situation because of thanks to pandemic and COVID. So we are learning new technology, how we know how to connect with people virtually. So today the organizations are conducting interview virtually. The tests are being conducted virtually using the AI technology, and the interview are being conducted using the different kind of a platform. So unless and until you get familiarized with this kind of a technology, this kind of a platform, friends, I'm telling you, it is very difficult to crack and get into the multinational organization. When I say the attitude and the skill and the knowledge, friends, as far as the skill is concerned, there are two different type of skills as an organization normally I expect. When I say the skill, one is the functional skill or the domain specific skill. Say for example, if you are a mechanical engineering, then probably if you are interested on design, then I'll try to dig in and find out what kind of domain skill you possess. whether you know Creo or whether you know Pro-E, some kind of things. If you are a computer science engineer, then I'll try to probe what kind of programming language you know. So, say for example, whether you know Python, whether you know C, C++, whether you know Ruby, or some kind of a profession. I mean, the functional skill or the domain specific skills I check. And the second area is the knowledge, the language skills. Friends, today you are all considered to be the global citizens. Today, your job opportunities not only confined with India, your job opportunities are confined across the globe. Today, travel become very easy. You can reach any part of the world at any point of time. So, friends, if you want to join a good company, good multinational company, obviously try to learn one foreign language, right? So when I say one foreign language, now people are talking about learning the Japanese language. The one single reason is they have a huge presence in India. They have a huge presence in India. As a country, they are also interested to recruit people from India because we are culturally rich and their culture is also compatible. And as Professor Iniyan has pointed out, we are easy. Our Indians can adapt to any kind of a situation very easily, quickly, and learn. We are all very, very flexible. That's the one success of Indians across job market. That's the reason why all these Japanese companies are targeting Indian students to recruit. In fact, a couple of years back, the consortium of Japanese industries approached Anna University and they said, "Sir, can you we as Japanese industries will come and recruit people from the second year." They said second year. I was amazed. Why they come in second year and recruit? They said, "Sir, we recruit them in a second year and we try to impart them the Japanese language skills. When they are in the campus, when they are learning the other engineering subjects, let them also have an opportunity to learn Japanese language. Once they have a proficiency on the first level of the Japanese language, and when they come into the third year, and we'll give them an opportunity to do an intern in the Japanese companies." So since there are more number of Japanese companies in India, especially in Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, Karnataka, and Andhra Pradesh and other regions of the country, they said we give them an opportunity, maybe a summer intern or a 6-month project intern. So they let them come and spend their time with the Japanese industries. So parallelly, they can also do a next level of Japanese language. So once they when they complete their engineering program, once they are in a position to complete N3, they will have an opportunity to come and work in Japanese companies in Japan. So that's how they come out with a model. So one single reason, friends, I'm telling you, I told you that as a country, we have a demographic advantage. But when you look at the country like the Japan, it is one of the country where the aging is coming very fast. So there, if you look at it, the 18 to 32 age bracket group, there are only about 19 to 22%. As of now, there are 19 to 22% people are there within the age group of this 18 to 32. That's the one single reason they want to recruit people. They want to hire people from India and deploy them back in Japanese organization. So friends, it's a great opportunity. So it's a great opportunity. You should all harvest this kind of a benefit. As I told you, today you are considered to be a global citizens. So anywhere, anytime, right? And if we can able to join a Japanese firm, if we can able to converse with an expert in a local language and Japanese language, always people will have a comfort. So that's one single reason people are insisting on learning a language skill. So in the young age, friends, I'm telling you, learning multiple languages is easy. So when you learn languages, definitely it will get, help you to have a good career path in your career. Friends, there are a survey. The survey says the top 8 Japanese companies, namely Toyota, Mitsubishi, SoftBank, Nippon Telecom Technologies, Honda Motors, Suzuki, Sony, and Nissan, they have their presence in India. They have their huge, big presence in India. So, for example, in Mahindra City here, we have R&D PCI, a technology business center, Renault Nissan Technology Business Center, one of the largest design center in the world. All these Nissan cars next to Japan is being designed and developed here. We have a factory manufacturing facility at Varagadam, which is a 30 kilometer away from Chennai. I had an opportunity to visit that Renault Nissan factory. They have 3 production lines. So one side Renault cars are coming, the other side the Nissan cars are coming. So it's a very treat to watch. Every 58 seconds, one car is being produced, manufactured, assembled, and get delivered. So that's the kind of a presence they have. They take NTT data, Tata Docomo. So earlier, they have a huge presence on telecom. And the other one company which I talked about is SoftBank. SoftBank is the biggest conglomerate in Japan. They have huge presence across the world. In fact, they have a huge stake on the Alibaba. They have a huge stake on many of our Indian companies. So they have business interest on IoT. They have business interest on internet. On internet-related kind of a business. They are one of the biggest investors, and they have huge business opportunities in artificial intelligence and so on and so forth. So these are all, and most of the Chinese companies, they want to make partnership within India and with Indian companies, and they want to have a kind of a joint venture. So, and they have their own entity, individual entity here. So that's the kind of a biggest opportunities are there. So friends, I'm telling you, if you have a fantastic knowledge on your engineering and the domain, and if you have some domain specific skills, and if you have a language skill specifically if you're aspiring to go to join Japanese companies, if you have a proficiency on a Japanese language, friends, I'm telling you, your job opportunities for the next 40 years is simply prosperous. So another single reason, friends, if you take the Japanese economy, it is the second largest economy in the world and still growing and continue to grow. People call about the purchase power parity. They call it PPP, purchase power parity. It is fourth in the world. So the purchase power parity of Japanese people is the fourth. That means they consume a lot of goods and products and the services. So that's the reason why I said it's a growing economy. So friends, I'm telling you, if you can have an opportunity to work with the companies, Japanese companies, definitely your growth prospects for the next down the line for 40 to 50 years is rest assured. And Professor Indian has talked about quality control. Incidentally, I'm also part of an organization called the Quality Circle Forum of India, QCFI we call it. I'm a secretary for the Tamil Nadu chapter. In fact, all these big quality concepts, be it 5S, be it Pokeyoke, be it Six Sigma, you name any quality concepts or Ishikawa diagram or a fishbone diagram, the mechanical engineering students normally they used to study. So you name any quality tools, any quality principles and techniques, it's all come from Japan. We all learn from Japan. People call it a Deming Award. See, recently many of the Indian organizations have got the Deming Award. In fact, the TVS group of company was the first Indian company got the Deming Award. Sundaram Clayton, Rani. There are many organizations got the Deming Award. All these Deming Awards has come from Japan. Or the organizations has given bestowed these awards to this Indian organization. If you are an organization winning a Japanese quality award, friends, I'm telling you, you'll be globally recognized. So that's the kind of accolade people enjoy. That's the kind of premium as a country Japan is enjoying. So friends, as an youngster, if you have an opportunity to start your career there, definitely, friends, I'm telling you, you will have a fantastic, huge opportunity. When I say, again, one simple reason, example I can quote you, Tamil Nadu is likely to get, or even the government of India has sanctioned to build a AIMS hospital in Madurai. This Madurai AIMS hospital is going to be fully funded by Japan government. So recently a team from Japan visited, they made a first-hand survey about the site and all that. So soon they are going to commence with the work. So that's the kind of investment we attract. So that's one simple example. Even this 26th of January, when we celebrated the 72nd Republic Day, in fact, our Prime Minister has conferred Padma Vibhushan to Sansei Abe, the former Prime Minister of Japan. So that shows the commitment of India. That shows the kind of relationship they want to get engaged with Japan. So that's the reason why we are all insisting, friends, always try to learn one foreign language, right? If that foreign language of your choice, If you like Japan, the Japanese, you can always learn. One interesting thing about Japanese language, people used to say, it's all sign-based language. So quickly you can learn, you can remember, you can relate. So friends, I'm telling you, such a kind of world-class opportunities are there. As a country, we are growing. Our economy is growing, as I pointed out earlier. I can also quote few examples. If you look at many of the U.S. companies, many of the Indians are occupying the senior positions as CEOs. Be it Google or Microsoft or Citi or any big organizations, big banks across the globe, you take it. Time is not far off. Friends, I'm telling you, as a countryman, as an Indian, they also shortly take over as CEOs and CFOs and COOs of Japanese organization. One single reason, as I pointed out earlier, we have very young, knowledgeable, talented human resource. Definitely, this human resource will help countries like Japan to grow their economy. That's the reason why all these Japanese companies are having eye on India. So, friends, for want of time, I'm not going in depth and elaborate about the attitude, knowledge, and the skill. Otherwise, normally I used to take a session for a day or half a day about what attitude is all about and things like that. So, as I pointed out earlier, friends, as a budding engineers, focus on three important areas. One is the attitude. Second one is the skill. Third area is the knowledge. Friends, if you develop and focus on these three areas, your job is, or getting a job in the organization is rest assured. You need not worry. And people will hunt you. The organization will come and catch you up to put there in the organization. So friends, once again, my sincere thanks and appreciation to all the team members who organized this MICHI program and all my young budding engineers who have witnessed this program for the past 1 hour from 11 to 12:10. So, and once again, my sincere thanks to Rama-san, Manasa-san, and Professor Iniyan for the wonderful opportunity given to me. Thank you very much. I wish every student who joined here, all these 100 plus engineering grads who joined today, right? You should be all blessed with a job. And I say a job, not a chota job. It's a fantastic job of a class. Probably if myself and Professor Iniyan meet you after 5 years or 10 years, either in airport, either in Chennai airport, or in Tokyo airport, or in elsewhere across the world, if you say, sir, we listen to you when we meet, when you had an opportunity to meet, if you say, sir, we listen to you through the MICHI program, sometime back in the month of January 2021, friends, I'm telling you, I myself and Professor Iniyan will be the happiest people, right? So that's what the occasion I am witnessing. That's what the occasion I'm looking for. Thank you very much for your passion and listening. Thank you one and all for joining here. Thank you so much.
This was wonderful, wonderful. I mean, we were just sitting and watching. We ourselves felt, this is the pathway we should take. We've heard such good inputs. We've had such good input from both you and Dr. Iniyan. We thank both of you, heartfelt thanks to both of you to spend such time with us and the younger generation here. I hope all the students have taken a lot of inputs from this program and they are benefiting from this talk. It was a wonderful, I would say, a wonderful talk. Both of you have given a lot of input, so thank you very much. Now, we move further to the Q&A session. We ask participants, they can raise their hand and they can intimate in the chat box or once they introduce themselves, to whom are they addressing this question to, and then we will take it further. So we keep the hand raise options. I think one has already raised the hand. Can I have the name, answer, sir? Yeah, Mr. Hariharan, please unmute yourself and come on video, and you can introduce yourself from which college you are, what you're doing, and then come up with the question. Mr. Hariharan.
Yes, ma'am. Hello, sir. Am I visible?
Yes, you are. Please continue.
Yeah, this is Hariharan from Rajalakshmi Engineering College, and I am currently a final year doing my BE Triple. So I am planning on doing my highers in Japan, and I want to do it based on electric vehicles since they are going to take over the primitive IC engines that we are using right now. So I want to know what are the options for doing hires on EV, and yeah,
And
that's my question.
to whom is this addressed to, Mr. Hariharan?
Hariharan, can you come back? We couldn't understand what you're saying. Some audio clarity was not there.
Now, sir, now am I audible?
Yes, you are.
You are in final year
Now am I
doing
audible?
triple E. That alone,
I'm doing my final year, sir, BE Triple E, sir,
yeah.
and I want to do my hires based on electric vehicle.
Oh, okay. Electric vehicle. Okay, got it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I want to know what are the options for me, and what should I focus on?
Okay. Sir, Professor Iniyan, sir,
Yeah,
then
yeah.
only I can add
Good.
a few remarks.
Yeah, I think the IC engine, okay, in another 10 years, there won't be any IC engines. That's what I mean. Each country is thinking about it. Even the UK, I think they have announced by the year 2030, there won't be any IC engines on the road. And they want to move to electric vehicles. And of course, in automobile, there won't be any IC engine, but
Phone
then
charger.
all other components, the suspension system and the body, the tires, braking system, and everything will be there. So only instead of IC engine, you will be having the battery. Okay, and that would be chargeable. And so in the battery, so we expect some breakthrough in that particular technology. And so as of now, once it is charged, you can go for 100 kilometers, and again it has to be charged. And of course, Japan, they're the first country. They have put the solar panel at the top of the car, and they operated the vehicle without further charging about 200 kilometers also. So I mean, maybe in the master's level, the new curriculum will be coming, and new syllabi will be coming on electric vehicles. Even in Anna University also, we are thinking. I mean, partially we have IC engine syllabus, and partially we are say implementing the electric vehicle syllabus. So, and definitely you can look forward and browse all the Japanese universities, and definitely there will be some program on EV vehicles, that is electric vehicles. And yeah, and definitely, and so there will be a move, okay, from IC engine to EV, and it is there definitely. And all the countries unanimously they accepted it, because the pollution level is kept on increasing, and the surface level, so it has to be curtailed. And every country is looking forward EV. And because of the pandemic period, it is slowing down. Otherwise, in 2020 itself, there was a huge discussion, and it is slowing down for past 1 year, because they are not concentrating on that only. Corona only they are concentrating. But anyway, and you can look forward, and even say the Japanese, okay, they are very I mean active in automobile, particularly Toyota, right? And say and big exporter, no, for various countries including Japan. So, and yeah, definitely. And they will be thinking very seriously in this aspect. And you can expect some further developments in this regard, and accordingly they will implement some new program, and new internship and new training, and everything say they are taking care of. And they started doing some research also in so in the battery area. Okay, so we expect some breakthrough. Yeah, so you can being an electrical engineer, and it's a right area to take it up in the EV side. And you can just look forward, and if any short-term course or full-time master's level course, or even in the manufacturing sector, in the automotive sector. Okay, and so they at trial and error basis they started making now. Okay, so you can take up some internship in that kind of companies. And yeah, you can look forward that, and definitely shortly, and it will come into the picture. Yes.
Thank you, Hari, for posing that question. In order to add on with the Professor Iniyan, as a country, we are doing phenomenally well on the electric vehicles. Already we are all witnessing on the two-wheeler segment. So people have come out, and there are a lot of extensive research is going on in Anna University as well as in IIT Chennai on electric vehicles. And as far as to touch upon the Japanese companies, the Mitsubishi and Nissan, they are doing a very pioneer research on these e-vehicles, especially on the storage devices, on the battery, so on and so forth. And in fact, shortly, there is a talk going on between Nissan and Anna University to set up a center of excellence on unmanned, guided vehicle. The project is already approved. This is electric vehicle research areas. And even the government of India, RUSA, has funded 35 crores to Anna University to set up an exclusive center to do research on EV, electric vehicle. So today, not only the passenger cars, even the Daimler has made a breakthrough. Even the trucks are being made electric vehicle. And there is an extensive research is going on with Caterpillar India and Caterpillar US. Even the heavy engineering equipments like backhoe loaders, excavators, so on and so forth is also they are planning to do it through battery. So when the magnitude of the vehicles increase, obviously the storage requirement and the device is also required. So as an electrical engineer, if you focus on the EV vehicle, especially on the storage segment, definitely you will have a fantastic opportunity. So you can look for, that's an ideal choice as an electrical engineer. Yes.
Thank you, Iniyan sir and Kalai Salvan sir. Hariharan san, hope you got your answer for your question. Next we have Sheikh Karishma. You can please ask your question.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Karishma.
Myself, Sheikh Karishma from Sona College of Engineering, Sona College of Technology, Salem, Tamil Nadu, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sir, I have already taken JLPT N5, NAT N4. I wanted to take JLPT N3 last year, June and December, sir, but unfortunately it was cancelled due to pandemic.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, in
So your question is when that JLPT will happen,
NAT.
is that?
JLPT was cancelled, sir. This year I am going to take NAT February, sir. February 7th.
Okay.
Will that be considered or should I take JLPT only?
Okay.
Probably Rama-san
Yeah.
and Manasa can answer.
Yeah, they are the right persons. Yeah.
Yes. So, Karishma san, very good that you've done
Yes,
your
ma'am.
N5 and N4 and you've done your N3 studies too. See the difference between JLPT and
Thank
NAT.
you.
Basically, JLPT is more internationally accredited. That was the one which started off, I would say, the key one. And a lot of universities or even companies still look out for JLPT. So you can side by side write your NAT. I am not saying ki NAT is not taken into consideration. It is, but down the line, if you have your JLPT certification, it will be more helpful. So you can write your NAT in February because as of now, NAT is happening in India only in couple of states. That's I think Pune and Chennai has NAT exams being conducted. But JLPT is more popular or more sought out for. So down the line, if you have your JLPT, it is always better. Okay, all the best to you, and please continue
Thank
your
you, ma'am.
education.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Ma'am, I have one more doubt, ma'am.
Yeah, please.
You mentioned some companies like Wipro, Infosys, TCS and all.
Right.
What's the work you are doing with these companies with Japan, ma'am?
Okay, so our association with these companies, we have been, rendering services in multifaceted way. Like each company, we are doing, let's say, trainings and translations or trainings and placements. So, our link with the companies is in multifold ways. Like initially, what I explained. So, our services to these corporates are in multifaceted way.
Karishma, may I know which branch you are studying?
Computer science engineering, sir.
Okay. Karishma, I'll tell you, always as a
Yes,
computer
sir.
science engineer, right, you'll have a huge opportunity in the countries like Japan and other European countries. provided if you know the local language. In fact,
Yes,
recently, a couple of years back, I had an opportunity to go to Amsterdam. There, people said, anybody with good programming skill with the Spanish language, we are interested. Likewise, the Japanese organizations are interested. Anybody with good programming skills with the Japanese language, they will have a huge employment opportunities in Japan. So that's how all these TCS, Infosys, Cognizant, Wipro, HCL, they have their huge presence in Japan, right? So they cater to IT services to all these big companies. What I mentioned is 8 companies, Toyota or SoftBank, or many companies I have mentioned, right? So they provide IT services to them. If they hire an Indian engineer with the computer skills, with the Japanese language, it is easy for the candidate to go to the Japan, work with the Japanese people, Japanese engineers, and implement the IT services there. That's the reason why all these big IT companies are interested on computer science engineers who know specifically Japanese language. In fact, HCL, they have a huge presence there.
yes,
Separate
sir.
division.
Yes, sir.
Right, they have their own JLANS team. So not only work in Japan, let us say if someone has a limitation to travel outside, you can work as bridge engineers between both the nations. So with the language skill sets, even from India, you can interact with your Japanese counterparts or colleagues, and take off on the projects. So there is a huge demand for your technical expertise plus language. You can make a mark for yourself. Yep. Next
Thank you,
one.
ma'am. Thank you, sir.
That's it. Yep.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All the best.
Yeah. Next one.
We have a name in Japanese. You have raised your hand. Could you please turn on your my audio and ask your question? And introduce yourself also, please. You're not audible.
Unmute and speak.
Now can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
I am Yashwant Krishna from Sriswar College of Engineering. I am doing first year in BEEE. So what kind of jobs they are offering for BEEE students, sir?
For what students?
Sorry, can you come back again?
Sir, what kind of jobs they are offering for BEEE students, sir?
BEEE students, your name is Jai Krishna, is it? What's your name?
Yashwant Krishna.
Yashwant Krishna. Yashwant Krishna, first of all, let me appreciate you, right? You have written your name in Japanese language. That's the right
Thank
kind
you,
of an attitude you have exhibited to the people, right? This is what I talk
Thank
about
you.
attitude, right? So since you are interested on Japanese language, you have shown to the people that you have written your name on Japanese language. Since that means people know that you know the Japanese language. That's number one. See, for a EEE electrical engineer, obviously, as Professor Iniyan has pointed out, and I also touched upon, the electric vehicle, there you have a lot of opportunity. On energy management, you have an opportunity. And then on the energy transmission, those kind of areas. So as an electrical engineer, your opportunities with many organizations is wide open. And if you are interested on IT product, those kind of things, parallelly try to learn one programming language, good programming language skill with the Japanese language, and a good academic background with academic score, definitely you can get into the employer of choice. Whichever the company you want to join, you can, because you are in first year, you have ample time to till another 4 years. So you can plan your career in which organization you want to start, right? Whether you want to start your career in a power generation unit, or whether you want to start your career in nuclear energy related areas, or whether you want to start your career on electric vehicles, you can plan accordingly and do it. So, sir, Iniyan sir, do you want to add anything on?
Yeah, that's requirement areas is one of the areas is electric design. Okay, so if you are really strong in electric design, and you have very good opportunity there, and not only that, and say underneath cabling. Okay, that is, I mean, the power plant may be in the island, and then you may be bringing the electricity to the mainland. So they are well versed, because in Japan there are say hundreds of islands, and most of the power plants are situated in islands, and then they bring the power to the mainland through underneath cabling, fiber cabling, and in that area electric design And as Dr. Kalaiselvan said, maybe electric vehicles. And these are the important areas, and it is coming up in Japan. Maybe you can concentrate in these areas. Maybe you can go to Japan. You can do masters there, and then you can work in a electric-based companies there. And definitely you have plenty of opportunities there. Yeah.
Yeah, to add on what you have to do, you have to spend your summer intern, right? Once you complete the first year or the second year, try to join some companies, right? Spend 8 weeks as an intern. And then when you go to third year, again, you choose the same similar line of organization and try to do an intern again. Then probably when you are in the final year, you go for an interview. When you go for an interview, when you say, I have these Japanese skills, I have these domain specific skills, and I have an intern, I did an intern in this company during second year, during third year, obviously your job prospects will be much, much better than compared to others.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Surya-san. Yes, Surya-san, could you, yes, please introduce yourself and ask your question.
Hello, sir. First of all, I would like to thank you guys for giving such an immense information within this short span of time, sir. Okay, so myself, I'm Surya. I'm a 2019 passed out civil engineering graduate from Sona College of Technology, Salem. So my goal is to work in Japan, sir. So I actually completed N3 level, and hopefully I would complete my N2 level by this July. So my question is, what kind of opportunities are there for civil engineers, sir, in Japan? So specifically for freshers, sir. You know, what kind of softwares do you have to learn in design field? What are they expecting from us, sir, as a fresher? I'm asking, sir.
Yeah, and in the lecture, I mean, there was one slide for the Indian engineers, that is requirement areas. So one of the areas is civil engineering design. Okay, so normally you would have studied, say, the steel design, maybe concrete design, all these subjects, because these are all fundamentals. And there is slight difference in Japanese construction, because they face very frequently the earthquake. Okay, and they have a lot of say absorbers. Okay, a lot of absorbers will be there in the high-rise buildings. And not only that, at the time of say shaking, and say it will just I mean, you can find the shake practically by wood. I mean, it will just 1 mm or 2 mm or 3 mm. So you can find the flexibility. Okay, so accordingly they do the design. Okay, and it is slightly, the design part is slightly different between our building design and Japanese building design. There is a difference, but and since you have already studied all these basic design concepts and with regard to the buildings, and it is easier to cope up. Okay, so only the absorber part and all the shock absorber part and all these things, and then the foundation part. Okay, and the building is not very rigid; it is flexible. So that kind of design you can learn, and not only that, they have like detached designs. No, okay, each floor can be detached, so they may be having 100 floors. Okay, and each floor it can be detached, and then again it can be added together. So that kind of design they have in their buildings. So maybe so when you take up some master's program, maybe you can learn some Japanese stylish buildings, and there is slight difference between our design and their design, and accordingly then you can also find opportunities in some building industry. And always, so you can find in all the cities, no, the huge buildings are coming up. And even the Hiroshima, I thought there won't be any much buildings, but then there are plenty of high-rise buildings in Nagasaki and Hiroshima. And in Tokyo, it is the entire area is filled with high-rise buildings. So, and the designing of high-rise buildings and the related to the foundation and shock absorption and the flexibility, and so in these areas you have to really learn. You have to definitely do masters there and then. And so once you develop the skill, when you become skilled engineer, and definitely you can find very good job opportunities in Japan. Yes. And of course, you have to learn the language also parallelly, Japanese language. So you have to be well versed in learning of Japanese language also, and that is also one of the key areas.
Yes, Surya, to add on to
Yes.
Professor Iniyan, today people talk about the structural engineering, right? So structural design. So structural engineering requirement for an elevator is different. Structural engineering for a high-rise building is different, right? So those kind of things. And today people are talking about ready-built house, ready-built concretes, right? Those kind of things, prefabricated concretes, right? So if you focus on those areas, because that's going to be the very niche area, that's going to be the future. People construct bridge within a period of 2 weeks, 3 weeks, right? With the pre-cast concretes. So, and soil engineering. So, as he has rightly pointed out, a country like Japan, earthquake-prone zones. So, what kind of soil is requirement in order to have a kind of a structural design and things like that. So, if you do a relevant course, relevant to the particular topography, always you'll have an opportunity.
Okay, sir. I understand that I should improvise my knowledge in prefabricated structures and their seismic related
Seismic prone,
field. Yeah, seismic.
Yeah.
So, do I have to do masters there, or as a fresher I don't have an opportunity, sir?
No, it depends. It depends on your family. It depends on your financial position,
Okay.
right? Always, if you do a master's in a foreign country, there is an opportunity to get an intern and a work permit there to work. So that's always one advantage. And as a country like Japan, now they need the more talented manpower. So obviously, when you do a master's there, then you will have an opportunity to work on some projects which are funded by the Japanese industries in that particular university. So you can get some connect. So probably you can join there, right? So if your family constraints is there, then you can do your master's here. Then probably you can seek for an employment there and migrate.
Okay. So for a fresher, how should I approach these companies? Are there any websites, or are there any opportunities?
Friends, I'm telling you, today the recruitment is happening in 2 different ways. One is companies visiting a particular campus and recruit, and another 50% of the organizations, they recruit talents through either through their websites, organization websites. They have a career choice, so probably you can go there, apply. That's number one. People conduct a lot of competitions and events. So, for example, recently we partnered with a company called Autodesk. Autodesk is also predominantly work on civil engineering, structural designs. So they conduct throw open some challenges. So once you participate in those kind of events, there is an opportunity. Third is you should develop your digital profile. When I say the digital profile, if you can able to use some softwares, right? What we discussed some time back, and if you can able to develop some kind of a model, and if you can create a digital profile about Surya in a social media, and if you can able to share those digital profile through LinkedIn to some of the contacts, friends, I'm telling you easily you can get connected to the industry. So I can tell you, recently one of my students studied automobile engineering at MIT here. He's good in creating a digital profile. He's good in Autodesk Fusion 360. He developed a lot of design concepts. And somehow he catch hold of somebody through LinkedIn who is working in Bombardier, right? He shared all these profiles. So that guy who is in Bombardier gone through all this design profile and things like that. Somehow he fascinated. He said that Bombardier, now my team is having an intern opportunity for 1 year. We'll pay the stipend of 30,000 rupees. If you are interested, you can join. That's how you get connects. Today, social media is one of the platform where you can quickly connect, especially the LinkedIn, and for which you have to have a very digital presence. As I told you, you should have a digital profile, right? That digital profile you will share it in the social media. That's one way to reach out to the companies. Today, it doesn't require a kind of a reference. You can, if you are good, if you know how to sell your profile, right? If you know how to project your candidature before the company, social media is the only place you can do that.
Thank you, sir. Surya-san, I hope you've got answers for your questions. So we'll be taking the last 2 questions for today. And in case you have any more queries, you can always reach us on WhatsApp or on call. So we'll try to support you in the best way possible. So before we close, we have Hariharan Shekhar San. You have some questions? Okay, go ahead, please.
No, your audio is not, it's unmuted. Check your audio.
Now, sir?
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Due to power issue, I was not able to listen to what you were talking about, sir. So I'm really sorry for that. So what I wanted to ask, can I ask again? So
no, you can ask, but always you can also hear the audio, which is the link they are going to share. It's all recorded and then share. And anyway, you post your question now.
Sir, you were talking about the employment opportunities in Japan, right, sir?
Yeah.
But I want to do my master's in Japan. So Japan is actually pretty much ulta of all the other countries to go and approach for higher studies, sir. That's what I feel right now, because each and every time I approach a university, they say that I have to go and directly contact their professors and then send my profile to them, so that after that only, if they're interested, they will contact me, they said. But I did not get any response till now. So I want to know what I'm doing it wrong, or are there any other options to approach the Japanese universities?
Yeah, and there are lots of say good universities are there. What is your branch?
Electrical.
Yeah. So you can do definitely higher studies. But the thing is, when you write professors, they may not respond, because if you write it in Japanese language, you may get response immediately. So yeah, and they may not be, though of course they are professors, and most of them, they are not very comfortable in other languages. So and they prefer Japanese language. And so if you approach, say, if you learn in Japanese language, and if you write to them in Japanese language, that you can find some response. And yeah, there are good universities, no, like the Osaka City universities and all, very good, and Yokohama National University and Hiroshima University and National Institute of Material Science. So these are all very leading universities, and one of the top ranked universities in the world. Okay, and definitely you can write to them and they will respond, but I advise you to write it in Japanese language. Maybe you have to have some interpretation, and then you can send it, and then you may be getting reply in Japanese language. Again, it has to be interpreted. And of course, if you learn directly, you can write to them. So
I'm actually reading Japanese right now, sir. I'm gonna write my N5 level exam in Feb. So I also learned about the scholarship program, sir. MEXT, Japanese funded scholarship program.
There are, of course, in through Indian government, I think, with the bilateral cooperation, and say when you apply through in Indian government, and definitely you can get the full funding, and because they have some MOU, and same way otherwise, even some of the courses, like 1 year even 1 year program or 2 years program, they give living expenses and as well as the accommodation. And you have to just look for, and you have to really browse, and then go one by one the various universities, and for everything, no, the Japanese language is very important, and you have to really tell them, so I am learning, or I have passed this level. Okay, and if you keep the certificate of all these things, and of course, whatever area you are strong enough in this particular time, and what about your project work, and in detail, you have to write about your potential to them. Okay, maybe you maybe participate in the conferences, maybe you have written some journal paper, whatever it is, and have all potentials, and present them in proper manner, and with the necessary recommendation letter also. So you have to keep say, and moreover, you have to really find out their potentials. Okay, so it has to suit both. Okay, suppose you may be having experience in different areas, and if you approach some other professors, he may be specialized in some other area, it may not suit well. And say you have to understand their potentials and in what are the areas they do research, and what is your interest. If it is really matching, and definitely you can really nicely you can approach them, and you can tell them, I have seen all your potentials and about the laboratory and other things. And if you say, I'm really interested in to work in that because I have this kind of background, I can develop further. So like that, you have to really convince them. Okay, so general email may not work well, and even the language touch is also very important. So and you have to keep writing. Okay, so with one mail you cannot expect anything. You have to send hundreds of emails like that. At least 10 you can find some response, then you can decide
To
on
the same person, sir.
no, maybe you can approach some. Suppose if you don't get response in a, definitely they will respond within a week. And if they are not responding, they may be engaged with some other projects. Maybe they may not find time to take you up. In that case, maybe you can approach some other professor. Parallelly, you can work on that. Okay, don't wait one by one because it takes a long time. So parallelly, you can approach at least say 10 professors, and then after a week, if you don't find any suitable response, again you can approach another 10 professors. So like that, you have to really work. You have to spend at least 1 hour every day so that you can get some contact in some assigned time. And then they may advise you, okay, come on, you learn this language, and then you can come up, and then I can take you like that. They will give some positive approach. So really, you need a lot of patience, and you have to keep on working on that, so definitely you can get some good opportunity. So once you enter masters, definitely working in a company, it's not a big problem at all. Okay, so in 2 years, I think you'll be well versed in say culture wise, or maybe language wise, and food style, everything you can manage. Definitely you can find some very good person. So I mean, through higher studies, it is easier to enter. Even getting visa, or it is easier, much easier. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so to add on to Professor Iniyan, this is what we call the statement of purpose, SOP, right? You must be in a position to write a fantastic SOP where you should project your skill and the talent and the knowledge, and try to match with the talent and the knowledge and the skill available with the professor. If your area of interest and his area of expertise matches, then you'll get an admission. That's it. Very simple it is.
Okay, sir. Okay.
You can Google it and find out. There are a lot of SOPs are there written by many students, right? So pertaining to, you should not do a cut and paste. I'm telling you should not do a copy paste, right? You should write your own SOP.
I understand, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, Hariharan san. The last question we have from Kalai Vannan san. Are you still in the meeting, Kalai Vannan san?
Yeah, I'm still meeting. Yeah, I'm still meeting. Yeah.
Sir,
Kalai Vannan. Okay.
Yeah. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Morning. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Kalaivanan, DV Kalaivanan from Mechatronics Department in Chennai Institute of Technology. What are the job opportunities, sir? Will I be able to have in both mechanical as well as electronics? Or
yeah, of course, the CIT, of course, it's a good institute. It is coming up, and hope you have learned. I mean, the mechanical as well as electronics together, and it's a very unique course. It is not there in many of the colleges. Only in limited colleges the course is being offered, and it is good actually. But for example, if you take automobile, so it is with mechanical and electronics. So without electronics, nothing is there. So even when you take the car, all the controls are so electronic control. Okay, and so the same way, and say the manufacturing companies. So you can find a lot of electrical control, electronic control there, and with mechanical input. So definitely you can find some very good opportunities, and you can find out for further studies in this particular area, or with this background, if you learn the language and just find out say some internship opportunities, and then with that you can just get some job opportunities also. Yeah.
For higher studies, what I can prefer, sir? For
It
my
can
higher
be
studies,
better you go in the same area. Okay.
same
Maybe,
area.
yeah, same area. Maybe robotics there in Japan, it is really coming up. Again, it is coming with mechanical and electronics. Okay, so you find everything
Okay,
is
sir.
electronic control, and robotics really they are pioneering. Okay, in this particular field, and so particularly in the manufacturing sector, you don't find much labor. Okay, so all the say setting up and taking out the product and inserting anything. So everything is done by robot. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Next, we have the last question from Kritik Swarupan San. Yes, please unmute
Am
and
I
ask
audible?
the question.
Yeah, you're audible.
Yes, first of all, good afternoon, sir. And I'm Kritik Swarupan from Ramakrishna Engineering College, Coimbatore, and I'm doing my undergraduate in Artificial Intelligence and Data Science, which is an emerging course. And actually, first of all, thanks for such a wonderful session, and it was very informative. And my question might be slightly off track, but I actually wanted to ask this in front of you guys. I am actually my 12th in my 12th standard. My second language was German. So what I ask actually is in future, artificial intelligence has more scope in west side of the world or in the east side of the world. Actually, do have where do have the more positions and where have the more scopes and opportunities in the future? So should I take Japanese from here or should I take German from here? So that's my question.
Yeah, you find opportunities everywhere. Okay, so artificial intelligence, there is AI and data science. It's a new program, and it is very recently introduced in some of the institutes, and really it's a unique program. And yes, I mean, it's in every country they are working on the similar area, and of course Japan, they are pioneering in this particular field, and say even long back they have started this artificial intelligence and that particularly the data science, and this area you can also focus on in Japan also, and even Europe countries also okay, like Germany, and maybe you can again you can, because you have say a couple of years more to complete your course, and you can really again you can browse and find out the opportunities, and definitely it is there in Japan, and of course other countries also working in the similar area, and but finding the job position in European countries, it is little difficult. Okay, you can do masters also there, but then it is not guaranteed. Okay, so and little difficult because they prefer their own citizens, and then and the company should certify that this is something unique, and his service is essential. So like that, if they really recommend to the government, then only you will be given say job opportunities there in European countries. But in Japan, of course, they welcome uh, Indians, and particularly the young people, and these are the new areas. And definitely there won't be any much difficulty in finding some internship or placements there. And you can also learn Japanese language parallel. It's nothing wrong. That is my suggestion.
Thank you. Thank you for your answer, sir.
Kalai Salvan, so would you like to add on something to that?
See, always to learn a foreign language is advantage, be it German or be it Japanese, right? I will say if Karthik Swarupan can able to manage both, then his opportunity is wide open in Germany as well as in Japan. So always as an young age, that's what I used to talk to all these youngsters. You must be in a position to work at least minimum of 14 to 16 hours a day. If you can able to work 14 to 16 hours of a day, at least for this 4 years of period when you are doing undergrad, right, friends, I'm telling you, you can do wonders, right? Try to learn both, right, and enjoy wherever you get the opportunity. Always when you work for a Japanese company, And when the German experts are coming there to Japan for any kind of a business dealing, or if any Japanese intervention is there in Germany, obviously Karthik Sarupan will be the choice of the Japanese company. They'll send him Germany because since he knows the other language also. So always it's an advantage.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your answers.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you very much, Kalai Salvan sir and Iniyan sir, and of course all the students for your questions and for attentively listening to what the speakers had to say. We really hope that you have all understood what they have said to you, because this will really help you in the long run. So with this, we come to the end of today's session, and we have almost extended the session by an hour. So, sir, sorry to both of you in case there was something else scheduled for you. I'm sorry, but we really had a good time listening to whatever you had to share with the students. So, yes, thank you to everyone, and it was a pleasure to have you all with us today. So, this session is being recorded, and it will be put up on our Facebook page. In case any of you want to access the session again, or if you want to share it with your friends or anyone who needs it, you can always go back to our Facebook page and you can share it with your friends. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Manasa-san, and thank you, Rama-san, and thank you, Professor Iniyan, for a wonderful time we had. Really, we enjoyed the session. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for the opportunity. Yes.
Yeah, I'm leaving the meeting.
Yes, thank you.